You're 5 feet 2 inch tall, 5 feet 3 inch tall, 5'1". You're a man. When you come into a social situation immediately, by your height, by your phenotype, that is the way you carry yourself, your behavior or your aura, the way you're perceived, you are at total disadvantage. When I saw The Apprentice with the Trump, Donald Trump, Mr. Trump, and I saw what happened with Sam, who's about my height. He's one of the candidates for The Apprentice. And Trump walked up to Sam and say, "I didn't realize you're that short." Then he shook hands. He says, "Come here, shake my hand." And he held his hand out. Sam went for it like a lapdog. The honor and privilege of shaking Mr. Trump's hand. But he doesn't realize, from what I saw, Trump was setting him up. Trump was mocking him for his height, for his size, compared to the other candidates and compared to Mr. Trump. And he grabbed it. Trump took his hand, shook it, and pulled him. And Sam almost fell on his face. He lost his balance. Trump took his balance. How humiliating can that be? That's like saying physically to the man by behavior, "You diminutive little man." And then Trump did say the right thing. You are behind the 8 ball. The only way to turn that around and to change it is for you to win. He set the challenge to the little man. But the little man was ostracized by the group. So to get attention, he had to behave bizarrely and do stupid things to call attention to himself. In other words, the herd, the candidates for The Apprentice, were pecking Sam out. To his face and against his back, a talking conspiracy to get rid of him. And as that happened, Sam had to behave more and more bizarrely, self-deprecatingly, to hang in, to get whatever modicum of attention it was possible for him to get. The short, small man should be in such a shape physically. The martial arts, bodybuilding, assertiveness skills, verbal judo. He must bring so much to the game. This is my point. Trump should have never been able to take his balance if he were in shape, if he were hard. He would have held Trump, even though Trump has biomechanical advantage over on the short man. He should have been in such a kind of a shape, his balance. Nobody should be able to take the short man's balance from him. He has to be set and ready. And if he can, he should be the one to pull his taller adversary off balance. This is a physical demonstration of power. Without that, without your opponent having some reason to fear you, some potential intimidation, you're in a world of hurt, my short friend. You're in a world of hurt. You take Elliot Rodger, the girls that he admired, the tall blondes. They were able to throw him down, pull him off balance, because he was so slight and so physically weak and so physically irrelevant. And usually, these fellas only have one alternative after that: win the lotto to even the score. If you're a short and small and insignificant and intimidatable, everybody will try the short man. He has to prove himself every single moment. He has to develop an aura about himself that's impenetrable. But along with that, that comes first. That's the ground. He's got to be in top physical shape. He's got to go, not just top shape, he's got to go even past that. Those are his marching orders. If he doesn't, he'll disappear out there. You know what it's like to stand on the dance floor and the women are taller than you. They're looking down because they wear high heels. And you're looking down at the little man. And he's cringing out there. And the more he tries to put on an act, the more he's revealed. If he tries to do the Mighty Mouse routine, he'll be a fool. He has to know when he's outclassed and get out. He has to not call attention to himself. He wants to be creatively inconspicuous. He wants to be a continuously moving target. He has to completely be in control of everything he's saying and doing out there. It begins with his appearance. He has to be in complete control of the package that he's putting out into that environment. He has to pick his targets carefully. He has to be very smart out there. He cannot go through a target. He's got to go around it, under it, or over it. He's got to have a good sense of timing. He's got to have a good phony personality that he can sell. He's got to be one hell of a good actor. His timing has to be pinpoint. And wherever possible, he has to get involved in some activity that he's good at and take confidence and courage from that. Everything he does has to be practical and street smart. He has to use critical, practical, street smart thinking before he moves. He has to know himself and his limitations and do a thorough assessment of the situation he's coming into. He has to have a feeling for his opponent. He has to know how to use critical distance. And above all, he has to be fair and practical with everything. When he's outclassed, he's got to leave. He's got to know how to not call attention to himself and disappear, but do it in such a way that he doesn't walk out with his head between his legs and with egg on his face. If he exits at the right time, he can come back again with new tactics, new strategies. The most important thing is if he's under attack, verbal abuse or mockery, or physical intimidation. This is where he prays to God he's in top shape. He prays to God he can fight dog down. Street fighting is what I'm talking about. And he never lets a verbal abuse, physical intimidation live. He puts a stop to it immediately. If his opponent is too big, he's got to get an equalizer, figuratively and literally. So he's got to have a sense of his power. That's everything, man. And he has to develop, he has to win, the most important thing of all, in my opinion. The ability to present through his aura, by what he says and what he does in a social situation, against his more advantaged social opponent. An aura that says immediately, if you try verbal abuse, if you try to insult me directly or indirectly, if you show me disrespect, I will be memorable. You'll lose something. He's got to present that in his aura. It's not open season on the short, small man, but he can't just say it. He's got to do it. This is nothing you can say to your taller, more aggressive, more confident because of the phenotype, because of the height, the biomechanical advantages. You have to demonstrate it. You can't just say it. He's not going to take you seriously because you're too short, you're too small. And what he's thinking is, little man, I'll stomp on you, little man. I'll kick you down. I'll kick you in the head, little man. Now you better scamper off before you take a beating. And you got to change that mindset. By your demeanor, by your presence, by what you say and do, there has to be a lot of menace in the short man. He has to project a lot of potential menace. And yes, a lot of potential violence. He has to drive fear into the bigger man. Whatever it takes, do it or die. Do it or watch yourself be continuously embarrassed, humiliated, and assaulted, directly and indirectly out there in the environment. I speak the truth. I speak the practical truth of what it's like out there. Anything else is a washover. It's a fairy tale. It's a turn the other cheek. And you know what that leads to.